Man in the autopsy found a bizarre thing he took out of the dead man's head, actually a capsule containing a tiny note. But he did not expect the information on the note, but made him instantly dumbfounded. The note was written on the daughter's name and phone number. In order to find out what was going on, Nick dialed the number with trembling. Unexpectedly, his daughter's voice of distress came from the phone. The kidnappers told him to wait for a call from a man named Eric, but when he called again a few days later, a woman answered the phone. The woman said she had just passed by the beach and heard the cell phone ringing on the body. The body's clothes said Eric. Why is Eric dead? What about her daughter? Thinking about the body he had just dissected, Nick left the office nervously. He pleaded with Lisa not to call the police and told them about his daughter. As ridiculous as it sounds now, Nick thought there must be some new clue on the body from the kidnappers. He hoped Lisa would rush to the pub and help him find his friend who worked in the hospital morgue. Nick rushes downstairs and sees a fat intern who kindly offers Nick a ride. With a blizzard on the way, Nick didn't think twice about getting into his co-worker's passenger seat. On their way to the station, Lisa arrived at the bar. After receiving Nick's message, they drove to the beach and dragged the body back to the hospital. The long corridors were eerie and Lisa felt a little uneasy. But Nick had a problem. The snowstorm has stopped all trains to the island, so he has to drive there. But it's going to take a long time. In order to find his daughter's clue, Nick asked for their help in examining the body, but his best friend said that he was a vegetarian, so the task was left in Lisa's hands. The girl wanted to refuse, but Nick said that there had already been two murders. And it wasn't just about saving his daughter. It was about preventing the killer from killing again. Thinking that she was traveling alone, Lisa was convinced by Nick. She closed her eyes and held her breath, and after taking a deep breath, she decisively pulled off the shroud. The two of them carried the body to the operating table, and under Nick's remote command Lisa cut open the man's clothes. There was no trace of the victim except for a key hanging from his chest. In order to determine the cause of death, Nick asked him to lift the man's eyelids. When he saw the red spots on the eyelids and the marks on the man's neck, Nick concluded that he had been strangled. He then asked Lisa to examine the victim's mouth. However, when he took out the man's dentures, he didn't realize that his tongue had been cut out and there was a yellow plastic ball in his throat. But Lisa couldn't get it out even though she tried. But then Nick asked him to slit the throat because it was the only way to get to the ball. But this time, it hit a woman's bottom line. She hung up without hesitation and stormed out of the room.